Memamo ajo ahwefo a mo hwe of kasamfoyini ene anwumre na masanso ama makwaba aba oforisuo bosumi ne da etoso aduonu baako afe mpim mienu ene aduonu ensia yi mu wei eyensam ahodoro a yaboaboa no ewo man Ghana mu o se anwumre nsam ena mosomfo na akwasi amofade Ghana nyina agina tum sa akankase bo a eye mababetena ha edi ensem a esisi ewo Ghana eni wiase nyina etumi edi ebrewo ensem yi etwagu ewo abefo ntentamfidi ye Facebook okohwa obenya ye ho eye OFF TV of TV sanso ena utubutumu enso ewo YouTube honso a ehonso no o yabonchenkwo ho no so of TV afi uko Google Play Store and one is our OFF TV and tintamo ya app na da ho seboyi fa set team so and when afi download do fabla phone so afi mi aso e o simu e me na medam no ye program sese ye bia ye no unya mi aso a na je se ene ewu hwe bi wei ene ne ye de ebrewo afi ye ntie ensem no ne eba bedi mu akotenene minority aka ensembi ediafa OSP tumi a eya amanyoku NDC epese ogifini nsem ne se we de eyensese ye de afinso olibisa se hwani Archibald Heidi ne nkita hodie ewo aban no emu afinso ye babawramu ewo emabunu a woni hwehwe se won Constitution Review Committee report no ne nyina empie wo abontimu afiyede ni bepiem nso ewo ahantan mabunu eye wo yetre wo hospital a watimi eja no ho no eno menu ka say de so adrofo nso ati asemde abutrika court etumi amano bill afinso wontumi enso eni insensama ekoso efa galamseni efom agudie tu no court asanso amano ena kakra so won fadansifo enfamra afinso miede ni betrom ewo Kumasi wabra immigration for actually nipa ebaburu eye 6000 ewo Kumasi na mono ne nsem no so South Africa eniema bia ekoso ewo ho ewo bibifo motimi akakotena ho a ye bi ma yakayaka de no eno nso ye di mu enchemu edi ebebrewo na mom tie na men so say Refiners Tap International eno de wontoma abomedia no omoye sa soroboa me kotokro ka so no mayima de edi amame ni nyina ne se eda a eye efiada Jumadi ekase friend say ade hia mpaye no ebe ekoso specific prayer edi apoti ne hia bra na be bom mpaye chechwe edi amponyankopon obosoro ba asase totoro bonso aye biafo nan na wontumi enye emfama wo ni nanse ne ha no fa bedan rade na afu wia nyame akọ Apostle Paul Kofi Odro etumi esre nyame nsira nyame banbo sika ahonya aware wotimi asre go so na wonso watumi de nipa Kofi na timi abam ewo wabra bomfri so ne nyankopon ensia na mu ntimi de ne so enipa wasanso eye nyame wei ena asomi mu a ene medi ensemi eba bebo wafi meda me hutao na makwa ba na me ba medi ensem ni mu ntwemu no edi bemam Afi mesro esa yakwa baidie nyabre na ejibre sa akrabi hawa pe eye ice cream bi sen nsem no mu ana no senso atwomon so a sene ebe ya metimi awisa nsem no etimi edi egu asomye na wonso watimi enya mu nkyeremu pa nemom ko Facebook of TV sanso na YouTube no nso no ubenya me ho live na yentimi nikita ho ewo ho no mu me sasia na me sasia ewo amanyosem ene emra ho nsem a ekoso efa Office of the Special Prosecutor OSP anyone to me aban epese wagifri nsem pefe eno nenam so emadom kuma omo amrese bedwafie timi ayayo ye kire agina simpie ni bema so ka kire Ghana eni wiase nyina se wadi ayensese ye de amayoku NDC asese na ni nyina ni se emra bia atwamu a na ye afimpim mienu ni aduonum enum 2025 ni mu no eye nimdifo bia na efa ne se Martin Pagu me no wo ka se wo kire no oman no mra eho eno enanam so a ema mayoku NDC nso eye sa niema we na mra wo frɛ no se Act 959 no eda so ara wo ho na eno na ma eye Office of the Special Prosecutor tumi kasiepa se on tumi nyanhwehwemu ewo nsemu na onfa nipa enko asem dibia wabra eni parafa ketase se proye dream na odi Ghana sika nya funye fode ne nsabon kumienu oya nioma ensem fata na esimu sen ena ebeba na Attorney General be hwe jina timpie ni bema so o si hey media matabri no e de na kokoto na me de na appeal court na appeal court high court na high court say ami nkwa na mohu tumi say metumi do obi kwa asem ni bia MBB for say da bi ate sami ro wabon hwemuma ni mu biemu emre na yede to wona eya act 959 no e betre o say Supreme Court nko a eni twa so won nsem bi sei efa OSP eni aban ni mu na mo dia won count of Attorney General say onyina nchan Godfrey Dame ani aban eye parliament mu ni nyina e kire mra o mo say ye ede to ho enti so onti ase de a eni omunko Supreme Court na Supreme Court emfa saman na OSP de o wotumi na e wotumi tina say odo obi beko asem dibia ni senti enti asema amayoko MPP for edituja
named the detention as his grounds, and the NDC government moved with remarkable speed to respond. The opportunity to strike had been discovered by the government. The NDC government identified its man, its moment, and its method. All these three converged in December 2025. The minority further notes for the public record who Martin Kpebu is within the spheres of the NDC. He's not a neutral commentator. He's a man who, upon the High Court's ruling on 15th April 2026, stripping the OSP of its powers, publicly stated that the ruling was, quote, sweet, end quote. A man whose petitions, media campaigns, and legal commentary had consistently served to weaken, discredit, and delegitimize the OSP office. The NDC decided the OSP had to be destroyed. Now, the first weapon. On 8th December 2025, exactly 5 days after Mr. Kpebu's detention, the majority leader, Honorable Mahama Yerega, and the majority chief whip, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafia-Mekpo, laid the office of the Special Prosecutor Repeal Bill.
So ejinamu ewo simpie eni bema so dom kumanu etum ejina akasa adiache Ghana eni ewiase ni mu a na omo sansu ebusa se hwani Archibald Heji na dia kura ni nkitahudi a ewo da Archibald no eni Attorney General entem na yenyina ebekaya na wochi eba bedu ama Attorney General eba bedina simpie ni bema so eni High Court eba bekase ani OSP kisi ejabeni eni tumi se otumi edi obi ekọ asemdibia wabra ni panafom no se ni panani aban no enyankitahudia bia omudi sekretary se ni proye bi ese ho ni santi no omuhia nhwemu ene nokware na yentie nsem omosanso edi kan ho.
A week after the Attorney General filed his Supreme Court submissions, the government constitutional attack on the OSP was made fully public. In a high court in Accra, presided over by Justice John Eugene Nyadu Nyante, on a quo warranto application by one Peter Archibald Hyde, the judge ruled that the OSP has no constitutional mandate to initiate criminal prosecutions and declared all ongoing OSP prosecutions null and void, and directed the Attorney General to take over all cases and awarded costs of 15,000 Ghana cedis against the OSP. The minority is compelled to ask, who is Peter Archibald Hyde? What is his connection to the NDC government, to the Attorney General's office, or the wider campaign against the OSP? How did a private quo warranto application filed in a high court come to produce with such perfect timing exactly the outcome that the Attorney General has been pursuing at the Supreme Court? We demand that the investigative press of Ghana pursue this question.
Oh, Musam and Chemu Ebiamuno and our Sanso Ekase. Emra, our friend, was at 959 Edaso arrive ho. kosi na yentum famfiri Ghana ye mmra nwoma ni mu de NDC fo Attorney General any High Court se mutumumu ene betre ye pe abra mmra no hone de any OSP e wotumi se wa ubedi kata se dream pro ya ne kankama o man Ghana no ane me de ma ba na tese me ye kro OSP fami nko no de wo pa atra ne hwe ode wo beko mmra no boni si achiba ni senti no wabra mmra ne da so ho no o wotumi so de nipa kwa asem ni bia okwan biada entumi ensi ne ho kwan ehu yenti ansem a mo sanso edika ho
itself the minority stands firm. Article 1301 of the 1992 Constitution vests exclusive original jurisdiction in the Supreme Court in all matters relating to the enforcement or interpretation of the Constitution. A High Court cannot, through any procedural vehicle, quo warranto or otherwise, effectively nullify the provisions of an Act of Parliament on constitutional grounds. This would amount to judicial rascality if this were to persist. That is not the province of the High Court. It is the exclusive jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, and no other agency can share it with the Supreme Court. The OSP correctly stated in its immediate post-ruling response that the High Court does not have jurisdiction to, in effect, strike down parts of an Act of Parliament as unconstitutional, and that it is only the Supreme Court which can do so. As far as we are concerned, Act 959 remains valid, in force, and unrepealed. The Supreme Court has not spoken. Until it does, Act 959 is the law of the land. The OSP's mandate subsists. No High Court ruling, however convenient or however exalted the judge is, can challenge. The fullness of time. The minority sets out the complete chronological sequence for the record of history and the judgment of the Ghanaian public.
Ebiemu enso dom kumano efre Supreme Court se wontwa asema OSP edi abanu emu na eye wonka enso se ensama modi ato asan ye be frɛ Godfred Odame eye enkane no Attorney General edi na ewura nsemu ama na ba be gina emrase bedwafie ama yatoto na no efa saa ne ma no we hu hia omunyini mfamfirim na afi omuntwa asenimu sani ebe ya enkonkofo haw eni amane bia emma na so mo pe enokura dia enokura no ena Ghana ya mamre no akyere no tinukura bia eni ba bibiem yentie dom sanso edeka ho.
1. The High Court ruling must be immediately challenged and stayed, and we call on the OSP to immediately appeal the decision of the High Court and immediately also apply for a stay of execution at the High Court. And we dare also add that he must also proceed to the Supreme Court with a writ of certiorari to quash the decision of the High Court. 2. We call on the Supreme Court to expedite its determination in Adamte versus the Attorney General. The Supreme Court question must be resolved definitely and authoritatively by the courts alone, by the court that alone has jurisdiction to resolve it. We call on the Honorable Chief Justice to treat this as a matter of great public importance, warranting urgent scheduling. 3. The Attorney General must be summoned before Parliament to account for his position. It is constitutionally unacceptable for the state's chief legal officer to actively argue against the statutory institution of the Republic in judicial proceedings without parliamentary accountability. The minority will table appropriate questions and, if necessary, move for a formal parliamentary inquiry. 4. We call on President Mahama to come clean with Ghanaians. He cannot continue to claim publicly that he supports the OSP while his own Attorney General argues for its constitutional destruction at the High Court and the Supreme Court. the president must choose, and he must choose publicly. Does he stand with the OSP or he stands with the campaign to destroy the OSP? In conclusion, the office of the special prosecutor, and ladies and gentlemen, you must listen to me with rapt attention. The office of the special prosecutor was created because
mi boremu ewa nsemu anafi mi bo eremu ewa emabunu bia ye from say youth reform advocate omo ena ebisa Ghana mampanyini say yewla John Dramani mama slemu sejata mama on many constitutional review committee report na wo de ba abonte no adan na wo de faba na uja ne aka ni na edito dabi yempesa fani nyina bra eno ena betumi aboa ama yehu se an ene ye hu hyem na ye nyina ya boa na afi de ya nokware de enya nokware de beboa Ghana de moa Ghana no ye nyina kire ya adwene na nso wabra report no ba abonte no ensam ni kakra bi ena mo begina ho kenkan de kire yen afi ukoba bia benya nsam na bobo kitua bi enegu ho na esimu sei enu ntinu okasafo a ne din ade eye Kinchof atangbara ese Ghana aban yebesro fani nyina pie na afi amanfo nyina enya kwan ewo wono adwene mu yentie nsema youthful yi etimi ade tuja
following specific demands before His Excellency the President. First, we demand that the government publishes the full unabridged report of the Constitutional Review Committee without reduction and without further delay, as indicated earlier, because of the cycle, the political cycle. Secondly, we demand that there is established within 1 week of this statement a multi-stakeholder constitutional reform implementation committee with a defined mandate, clear timelines, regional representation, and public accountability mechanisms. The composition of that committee must include structured youth participation at the decision-making level. Youth inclusion must be substantive, not ceremonial. Thirdly, we advise the government against issuing a government white paper or executive position paper on this CRC recommendations prior to the conclusion of a structured national consultative process. We've had that instance,
Wasika Semunu NDC National Chairman Banudeni Ora Johnson Esedun Ketia Ena Kasa Editre Equiafo Sequiafo Munya Butre Na Imprempre Hawi Mama Manen Hamo Imprempre Manuhuni Mama Manen Samoso every say NDC Abawo Hoi oh Adin na Baby Eddie Amamo Menjo Monjeso Amen almost Amen almost Sia Dudena Opatre Osimin Seminane say I Edian in a boo Amen na muko todu ani na sika ese munya okwa bro ya teso ene e bi nsi ye twalo lonka ba kon oh aba fom chese ubekọ no na ene atoko ne awio oh ensusu ye tabla ne yetono no sisi ye no ate aba fom enu na papa yi kasa no wakire mu se munya mutre na ya ba ne be ye we ye biri watia wa bi ebekọ na mahama ba de sisi ye pa e de gukwema enam so ma ye ba beto niema ye etumi edi amamo na nyina na sika nse se ya ehu etumi aba fom kakra wo man Ghana sisi ye sidi na ye kremu no ene dollar no omutumi agina brane e wo pepepe ye mu no na nam so a akakofa wo nyina ba ne ba e won susu so pa ediba ene won fa so nse ediba nsusu so ediba ne se niema we bi etumi ba priso mampani kufu apenso niema bi se esisi ye na sadi ba kon an me kai meja na miensa no na ye 1 Ghana cedi no ka boso na watumi dia ba satene fa sika bi se 50 an watumi fa 50 no atomo bag ba kon na wadi abafie na je sabra no niema boa ye fopa asa na wensu aye every se o mampanyini John Dramani Mahama ne ndisi aban ama niema ba fom ni sente no na aka kuafo no na we eye imprempren eto betwa
have now have been produced with high cost of input and you are not selling at a high price, we are aware that you are going through difficulties. But don't let that discourage you from farming in the next season, because government is working on the difficulties, and very soon farming will become very, very profitable. We are already working to establish the mechanization centers. So you will get mechanization services at very, very cheap prices. And then because the dollar is now cheaper, we will be importing chemicals and all the other things and be able to sell them to you also at very cheap prices. So what is happening now is just a transitional problem, and it will get away very soon. I believe you have heard what is happening on the cocoa front. You have also heard what is happening on the cashew front. These are temporary events, and very soon, with the solid policies that we are putting in place, this thing will be a thing of the past. And then finally, I want to remind party people that we are going to do branch elections. I beg you, those who have worked very hard, particularly the branch executives, to deliver this sweet victory. If I had my own way, I would suggest that let them be retained so that they can continue to do the wonderful work that has been done. If you have delivered victory, won all the branches.
Me bora and some from ma yedi any etremu ewo sesala eho ena ohini bi nso ayefa no Kulolu Abdullah Rahman Kasim Bata ai wotimi edi nsam bi atuja na oye Bulu Traditional Council payini ena ofresa onfa atoko ho adwuma ye emfa mra sesala mantemu no mo nso anya adwuma ye efri se Usha juma kese po mo ye no pa eya atoku aye dudia na atoku yi eno na ye de ka koko ye de bi eye kose ye de bi eye masa enti uju koko na uju kose a ene osimi obon gbona bon wona woko no wa se wadwuma se na se atoku ya de awiase nyina di atoku tito no omanga na enti saban panifo hwem na omatumi aba be yensusɛ ye de adwuma kese betimi aboa we benam so ema emabunu ebe ye adwuma ye Atia benye biya sanso na ten ebeye biya afi ebi ba benye biya Yakubu nsu ebenye biya ebema adwuma akoso ewo sesala enu nti osre se aban emfa sanji sedie wei na entumi emra won mantam ho se ne ebeye ebetumi aboa wei ene nana Kulolu Abdullah Rahman Kasim Bata etimi edituja.
Got to know that His Excellency President Mahama, as part of his resetting Ghana agenda, is going to establish 5 factories in Ghana. Sesala West is an area where soybeans is produced abundantly. Maize is also produced abundantly. Over there in Accra, all the maize that you see and the soybean is produced from this part of the country, Sesala land. So I make a passionate appeal to him to consider establishing a factory, one of these 5 factories in Sesala land, preferably Sesala West. When you shift it up, I'm saying this because currently farmers are complaining of low sales of grains. If we have these factories, it will no longer be a worry. We sell them to the factories. They will use them to process things for the same district to use. Also, Chairman General, this community has 2 basic schools. Both of them have KG.
War Asitinamuno National Assessment and Resource Center, Elifisha Mwa Entem. Opayina ni di ani Ramatu Al Hassan akase. Ehun ya se wotumi enya dan. Enwina de ene emwa foforo. Senia obabua mofra won ewo damdie mu. Osan fra wo fo se. Mon konhwehwe animdifo emwa ntem senia be ya. Ebabua mofra no. Na ne nyina ne se wona wona didam ewo manga na mu ase ayi omu ayipemu. Ela so bi so didam a no nkyese na adwene ne nyansa na nanim de edidam. Enu ntino omo sere wona bi wo nsam ya ankrankra na afi aban se. Aban ye besere wo. Tawani efa behwe ye. Na eba nyansa ne nimdi a eyeye ne ayedidam no. Ye ne ekura. Obi edidam no nkyese wonim nyansa ana wabodam. Da bi. Dudu na difra wo twam na ba obi so be fa no ewo asase isu. Eno no nkyasa yanto wo monto ntwene na mom ye beboa ama mo so setena matimi adwo no na no wie no na ofra wofo no sa wofo no obesere mo sa ya mo nso sanim difo emo antem sane ba ya beboa mofra no ama omotumi anya opepa ama omotumi anya adesuade hunu etumi abeboa wo man Ghana afin so obi wo ha wo fa fura otifie nkontomire momoni ni ko bi na bochi no hwe nwu aguso bodi ampesie ani nya do busa na wasim kontomle mojaduro yin fanka wo twe na nka o twe mojaton enu ntima amne so osere o yare adwobre wo ko hospital o fa fura doctors for entim enshow na ni abofa no se no ba bi aka ana obedi dem a omo behu na afi omo timi aso ano yenti ensema maami Ramatu Al Hassan edituja.
You see, we are all in the same country, and Ghana is for us. If we don't do it well, nobody will come and do it for us. So whether private sector or government sector, we are all same. We are trying to support these children who are vulnerable with their parents. So to me, government should come and then help us. You see, sometimes people want to help you, but even when you look at the structure, it is sometimes discouraging. So when somebody wants to even give you something, they will feel that it's not safe. So if the burden is done and then here is completed, we can get support from others. I don't care. Government should come in to help us because we have dedicated ourselves because of the passion for the children. We have dedicated ourselves to do the work. I don't have a child with disabilities now, but the way I feel for them, honestly, if I see them, I cannot leave them. I have to make sure that I've supported them in whatever means, the little way that I can. So with the little that the government can come and do for us in terms of logistics, in terms of giving us vehicle to sometimes do follow-ups and co. We don't need vehicle to stand there, but at least when we want to go follow-ups and then we have means of going out and coming, it will help us. Do you get me? The government alone can also do it. We are even calling for philanthropists, and that diagnosis can all be inadequate awareness or lack of awareness. You see, some of the parents may not readily accept the cases as we see. Sometimes they will come when you tell them that, oh, this is the situation, they will deny. They will say no, it's never. Even sometimes at birth at the hospital, they will tell them that this condition that your child is having, it is so and so, and it can affect you.
Mibo Ramu ewo sukumua MP Makwati Mintim Yara Philip Fifi Bachman ana okasa sewa wanida so ewe mofra no ma etro BEC 2026 say afidi ebeye ye pa edi ama wonum na okasa nsakraya wode aba ama pass rate ene every 75% etumi akọ 82% no enti wo wagidie se afin so de ebekọ nanimu biom na nimpasua somo from ho enkwala no o madene ye sharp omunimade wa ma omo suade wa chiche ne ma wo mu enti nkwala ne ti wo mo 2 ni nyina apọ ne de Daddy, I'm fire. A good trim, and one is a more chere, no more chere, no more chere, no more chere, to Guadani dear. A fee, Omunina, every time say you punch out for them, Monkamakuma and Phantom Yum, Muntier and Sama, MP, at the Quasimin team, Yera, Philip Fifi Backman, and so at the attitude.
This super mock has been organized by me for 3 consecutive years. And for the past years, I have seen massive improvement in the performance of the students. And that is what motivates me to do more, to let the students within Kwesimintim constituency know that we are with them and we support them, and we will do whatever possible that we can to make sure that they prepare very well to go and write the exams. Looking at the records, I could see that last year or last 2 years, we had about 75% pass. Last year was 82% pass from aggregate 6 to aggregate 36. So I am believing that with continuous encouragement, continuous motivation of the children and inspiring them, especially to be disciplined in classroom and in studies, they will be able to come out best. I'm organizing it for the 67 schools, including private schools, all the 67 schools within Kwesimintim constituency, made up of about 3,500 students, organizing this for them to know that we are with them, for them to prepare very well. The interesting aspect of it is that they have organized their various mocks. It is their teachers who, based on what they taught them, organize them.
Me tabri o man Ghana 40 million ni akwa piemu ewo Ahantan West eno ena mabuno ewo ho etimi aba abonten abeye ye kira bejira simpia ni bema so akasa edi atre Ghana ban slemu sei jata ni anu yero John Dramani Mahama de no de jan say bo Mahama wo de kan wutie o kan wo beyo eyesuwe Mahama Ningina ni say, Aya agenda 111 na na to dan kwa Kufuado. NPP aban edibesi wo ewa Ahantan West no. Moja manaka mudem. Tisi okwa emfui ensoi asorobo anum na kusie ena omoji omubo wo ma ene obekoyi edan ya sei. Nanso owie ni nyina akaso obebia no keke. Na ejuma efo komakoye ejuma. Yanso ya pa yaresabia no yetumi abawura mu ne yakwaje ayaresabia ma netumi aboa efiri se ye yade yenya baabi mfa ye ne nchide ena hospital fefefe we si ho emfidi agum wo na esai adayin eye usika da elinturo mo srega na aban sesenya usika na yetimamufo ye sika ye nim fifire taxes aye 20 no omo sre sa adwobero omo mpene kasa empene toto mpene no a omaja pade ba akopa no enunti aban no hwe se ai obebi ano de ama wo mo na afinu omotimi akoma kodja yarehwe na etimi de adwuma ani mpuntu nso etimi de abra wo mpesua no so yenti ensem amabu na wo mo Ahantan West edi tuja
ye man man da mama ye yakan wone mma ba hen papa se belemiam se ye yakan wone ya na dia ni brisam pa keke amanyoku anwe mo beli yawuni be ye bekari yawun ambo mre be ye ya zi ho mo ye ya dwene ke ye wa amanyoku yinti na first ba ye de ba wa nda nuki na se jika na sikapo ni esa za party ya yaliti ya de wo bi azamri dwanu hospital me jika kaka ala metisa ni ba ya yezie kana se bebe no po ala ni ma ya ni wo ka ba twa so na hospital ye jima mama mu jika me de nurse ni nso bobu ko hospital asan kwa banto nzunoki na mo mo ko ye nti yesa ala ni me wo so reke agenda 111 ni e zuro holeti ye na ya jina ke ya iti ya ni me ya tinde ya me ya ja ye ndende ya mama MP ya papa MC ya papa regional minister ya papa Mahama yes ake animia ni minukala ya nko hospital ba maye keke ya kima ya weke sabi won pe wa samsa kan boso akitachi a ba ni nya dwi ni na sase botubo koke na sase hospital work ya anwa no won maka ba ne ba meba ya ayarsa mani bebre shurba wani ru anwa na tende mo Papa ba ya sheti nti ejike ya yin wuro pa yes president Mahama minister of health ya papa kando bagira na baba ya hospital ba maye ba akako ni ejika si ati banhane ya ati banhane ya na ya yin wuro pa asa hospital ma ya la buake ama kasike ya bagira na baba ya wo baba nko hospital nurses go udo ba ejima ba ye na musunzu tanka ba nko hospital ya asa nurses ba udo mu ala So nyame ya do me bi ma be adwuma ba ye. Nti yes. Amas abonfu what you want nuke. Awuboka bi do hwe pe wo kia. Yezi awubonu
mi bo aramu ewo asem dibia mu nsemu a na yedi ani akwa kopemu ewo Accra High Court me ne wo ka say barima bia na ye fene say Frederick Kumi adunu ananim say ye fene say Abu Trika ena me ne wo ka say udu ani twemu ewo soaduru a ene anwoma mo ba abu ati dene ena Abu Trika Abu besankwan abu ati dene adeya ni nyina ne say Abu Trika menuka say ya chi no ni nyina ne say ono ofa oba mfonyini no awroro ne ho ene no de dada akwasi broni na waje ne sika edi afri ne nsam ya wa ha ne si FBI fo bi abagan na say an sa brante no ene ma wo ya ne nse fata odada mrofo ni santi no remo acha sori ya yoko buei Abu Blane be yun sama no e ba ya de hankopa gu ne nsa ya de Abu Trika to afiase che se ma ne be kura de esi de bi ya de ne ko USA ni akwa kodi na asem na no ena ne lawyer Oliver Bakavamawo oni a lawyers for kukudam ekotena ase na mo fa pen ni krata ene we di tradua we tro na we di we si ha na we di we fa ha ene mo di koda Accra High Court anim sa Accra High Court na dey Ghana ni dis yepa na ye ni seye na obi mamuni ye betumi ani se de ye ni ema ye ndi mrafu na tie ha no mo di dansan kuraba ene ba nto be dada ye ahwehwe fe wo se se wo se na approach na di enye ode di ahwehwe na ma ye good mrafu di omunyansa be dada be se japade nyina na kwabra no se ti wono no se di nyansa ne nimu di ye di dada bloni na wo ye se fidi e fe se computer no na odi gidi sika boni be na waye anu ntini yoko mo timamu ni mo ya ni se nenu ana me no ka say ye kwa ba ni nyina ne se me no ka say Abu Trika court se o man bi no mfa ni pamie no na afi niam o mo wa hu sika 30 million na de wakunipa fa Abu Trika mfa mransa na yatumi yi na piante me no ka say ni lawyers for no egu so hwehwe so mo benya sankofo ndo makọ na ni Abu Trika wotimi akofi akosankwan ye hwe de lawyer etumi kan
and the see and say a money bill. And as a court in super Mukaswa Mount Bill, I know what they should be to a crime said a bear, say court in here, say Brandy and to a seminar swat, Ubitimiaba. 80 court in a money bill, see and penny pammy to stand as sureties with a property value of 30 million Ghana cedis. And praying that is what we are working towards getting a copy of the court order. Then we go into execution of the bill terms and
Midasu Ejremu, our Accra court where be munsua any MPP chairman chairman Edema Asante Mantamu Anidiane Yera and Chibosi Akondodo na fra no chairman wuntumi nanso we de bibia tumi nipa na ne nyina no illegal man na sigalam say papa atiasi numri forest mu ene wokyerɛ sɛ mumbu ha na ne nua ye kagu fom na ye funtam sasi na kwabrane etopan na de ono no etwi samfan na wo twi samfan na yi sika kokko di free mu na ne nyane se chama untumi won krata eche ne se wotumi eye foma gudie nwoduma na so ya ma na broso enamu ema abrandi si aban ba ye to ensa fra ne se chama una si bibim tumi unu ye betere o ye ma ko esu na kukuro ye de no kwatuni mu o afi chairman efon eye be sei nenu ene yi chairman de ne ba bonten afi court okoniaba na wodi okọ na waba na menu ka sei ni lawyer kwaturi nsem bi e de koto court anim se momma ye ho kwan ni emfa dance fomlam no mo metere se ye wura no wonya foma godie ho niema boni dabi no ho kwan se oye enu ene menu ka sei court de bra etwato etumi de amache ma untumi so mfa na dance ye emra ewo eye illegal man in nsem ni mu yentie nsem a ne lawyer no so editude
Yeah, your application have been refused.
Yes.
What do you make of it?
Yes, this is the ruling of the court. We applied for a stay as a repeat of the earlier one,
the court does not agree with us, and the court says that the application for stay is refused, which means that indirectly 2 options: either repeat it or go back to the instant court to prepare our witness statements and continue the case and see the outcome of the case itself. So, in a nutshell, this ruling brings us to the end at the Court of Appeal in respect of the application for stay.
Is there a decision to go up?
We'll have to go back to Chamber and look at the options, and then we'll let you know which line of action we'll take. For now, like I said, we are open to 2 lines of action. One is to go up to the Supreme Court, and the other is to go down to the High Court to continue the proceedings.
When you say either or, is it your point that filing of your witness statement is hinged on your decision whether to go to the Supreme Court or not?
Exactly. If we decide to go to the Supreme Court, we will then proceed to the Supreme Court and pursue the matter there. If we decide to go back to the High Court to continue the proceedings, so we do. So the options are open to us. So we'll go to the Chamber, discuss with our client, and then we'll consider the next line of action.
Na mi boremu ewo nsefo froma na mi di mani ekwa kopiemu ewo asante mantamu eno ena otumfo osechitu je mi boni dia na mama mumu ase a otosumienu asante hene no otekrawie ene brawie so Ghana nyina da wiase nyina ya King Solomon wa yenya no ewo yebremu ono ene tisikejwa kofi so nana ena ekasa ena otroni nsemu editra amanwefo se amanwefo momu bra no eyetiawa bi mamfa mo ho mafrafra ahemfo nsem ene amamremu na mo anipa ene tomo so aba enipa so betimi ayi mafiro na eba ne sen ena me wo me man hene no ma omosome na omofri sampa so omo besome enye me na me se wo mo na sampa so eye asantefo yene ye chetere wonom enti onu ya wuti ubebi na mesom na omfa ho na mo abra wo so besom ne de ene otumfo wo se na se enu ntine se so otimi so de gina na hinni nsema ekoso ewo eye bunu east ene eye sunyahene an ebonwene entam no entwaye ni sante no o se na afi wakambiam sa amanwefo mo de mo wase sansam wemu na mo pese mo di ntwantia no munjai efrise wono no kasa na wakasa ena beebi amamre da no so ena odeto na ebesimu san ena amamre no amanwefo be yode se ye dane no enu ntini wo sra wona de wo hujim ena afi wahini bia wotini baabie na onka bi nhemu ompa ne bone a wotumfo ma ne nsa so ode afuna so ne nsam na wo sai se sampa hene esini se no no ye na yi a yetumi kofa wahene fufuro bi no no de yama no kwan ma polisifo ebo no ba ne asrafo ni ye de ne ba ho na de ono no ye na ye ni de ene be hwe what a big things se ho yetumi bo hene ba ko wo kumio na we na esim sei ni santi no osre won na de wo ho asesem sa amayosem on de o makobra bidin ajo bidin ana yesi bidin ana helu na bidin dabi na mom ayimfo fonsam no obesra amayofo mo bra ne yatiawa bi kan hu se obekọ na call no order so eyo hene no pe no na boy yentie nsema otumfuo osetiti the second kuma sengini nana mo pia otimedi tuju
sampa ya dia sam court abua yetia obi ani wo peso ka me nkwa na me za nkoka
sampa etia dia sam yen nara ya kan se won se ni wet na no tuso so amonti me ko obi aka ho bi
emre amane ne mra nyina so wo yafa
bra amane ne mra nyina yafa ene
yanjimi ankam ye hu se ko bete buru ho a no no aha no osum e de ni mo na betu asiri kwa asem o ma
o se ye ni nyina so bete buru east aha se ene oso osum so ha no oso osum e tie ene o se timi sini kwan e ma ne na
o mu nyina ha na mo ene ba me promo aye region no so anka so atu ho ya ni ye mesro se bra ba wo so maten oba bi ye hia yo ba ba so me makwa ma nsini kwan
ayi asani nyina ne asantima and now we do it. Also, ma, ha, Nembum, also, be also to know the person or background, a man from the person.
No, be an born one, I was so bad. Can you see a more be a quam was in a quite?
Niso be a quam was in a quam, be also to me back, no person.
Joe, now then, some power who was a every, and the aqua to a tell me a guana.
Joe,
or Quani Chroma, and original minister, be actual security, young man of fine.
Joe,
the only young lady, a man of quam on them.
And as a ba ye we akoko court so kuya oko ama register no national institution register e tie plan e sinu kwan ama oko no nkromo a regional minister meeting kase ukwa enti mo ba enti makan ko
now the only hine no afa kro na fa
na the only one no mo no afa kro na ko
Joe
ma ba enti sima fa kan ko a na mo
oh minister for come
minister for
minister for come
oh
and principal you know regional minister or principal you know minister for local government what come minister for interior what me aka ho
minister for interior local government minister for chieftaincy regional minister principal you know o mo nyina ayibuma
sampa mo kwa akwachi nipa ya na mo akwachi fa na regional minister na Fred judge holiday no afre say one remand wo
asemo sampa na mo kwa mabakwachi efa mo che fa aye holiday no na regional minister ahwe say remand efa no na fa de inyawo na pasa na enyi mo
na me ka kire no wone ne nkrofo anya minister mre ye ninka so why
amre wo ye ninka so
Emre ye ninka so. Ene monya tumi nti momfanya de mope.
Tumi na ba abedi munsam nti no. Mope bia momfanya.
Why? Na sampa hene wonwu. Kro no so na di obekọ ho nso.
Sampa hene. Wonwu ko bia ko ledia obekọ so.
Emedi asem obi ofri Ivory Coast to metwan kontompo na enkrofo kra gigi ni sika.
Medaso ejinamu ewa santemantamu eye kuma senam de Ghana for eboramu ewa hobanbo insemu. Ninanu eye Ghana Immigration Service. Actually inipa ebaburu 6,000. I am ofra ebe yesa 381 ewo kumase. Na wamboni ya waya ni se eye wana omu fifri eye chade ebi free Niger, Burkina Faso, Liberia, Libya, ebi free Niger na uchama na ebi aso watadiem na omu sre usika titro ni aso wase me kawa bra na me wa Solid FM na mi kwa juma no pa me wonse kraba ku bi semu na kasi am for senior minister me yes mami sikaya na me ma mi hwe wo TV so say ye wo ho e bo nsa na ye hwe wo phone so na me phone bai was me ma mi use iPhone na me say obi a usla de o ma mi use iPhone say o ma fo mo ho adwene eni obi a twam bia ye beje wo be kọ no jai enkwan o mo sa no o mo si o mo ye nkate wo na o mo kofie kwasa nkwan na no na ni na Ghana ya mamre e ma ho kwan ni sent no immigration service fu e to mo si abonten mu ba bi te se asonwase abuabo ne zabunzongo na zabunzongo de wurade utu na ya na we kura wo mu utu na o fa wa se de u ba bewre mu asonwase na wo hina boboa no ho untimi kura mfa ho na enumu na sese de wo de won akoprampram so wo kwahwehwe wo mu nsemu se omo wo enkrata so mutimi traga na so muni bidia ene we are going omo macho mu nyina edo makomu krom se ne be betumi abo amasa nyama na omo ye no eto etumi etwa na ye hwe de sibi course wabra na ye twe omo eba ba bia ye mo bebo dobo ano hey what are they doing wo amononimu nu insambia yehu bi atumi aba ewo South Africa na ninyina no eye kasamfo yina eba beda sui eye video bia etrese waritata amanfo titro ni Africa foa ebi free Ghana, Ivory Coast, Benin, Niger na ebi nso free Burkina Faso ene bibima wodo aka Malawi num Zimbabwe num omatimi di omani akwakopiemu e South Africa sebuo omukopa bibi aba begi no titro ni one ani nkatasem ene South Africa foi ewurade no monam yehu as hey come here, where are you coming from? Are you a Ghanaian? Because yes where is your document? Utama wa mu amazin this and that ewurade na isuso ahwe kai kwabrane yetimi ponche na fro wa to me se na nyina no eye niam South Africa fo ye ene wiase mi na do ma no tuma ebi mu eka bie na yehwe wa bra mu sia Ghana ni wa to ne se no wa bra mu sia o man Ghana ni bi na Ghana ni ya mi kana asemu hwe ya ewurade nyankopon nyina no se yese enkoye ya man yi every say ya say ya man ofri Sudan, ofri Angola, Ivory Coast, Ghana, no de anima South Africa, katra wa ban, nsɛmfo na wodi sika die no, ɔmfanya ne mapa na Ghana de se musane ye kwa South Africa kobre. Na nka de minimu no, ɛyɛ sɛ nkomomom ne ba ha, ye wofoma gudie bia bi. Yamfa gold wa South Africa wo de ba biem. Enso Ghana asam ye ho kwa South Africa for angry gold, etu gold wa ha. Hwede de ye obi ma so. Ka babu na tisese, ko ye de ebobo sika no, etimi koye akwa wo bi manso and a modern slave no abobos cannot acquire aqua and any equals to South Africa no Ghana ni ebon bra ye tu ni se no we ye tu ni se Ghana ni and ye pointed your kwabrane ada body ban waye ni nyanse woni nkratasem nana ma me nko we so na me ni Ghana fo nwie wo anumunu ena nsama ye hu a aba bontin etra manfo a wasanso enam haw ni amaniemu na nipa bebre alejuna won say ye masumje ni biako ye emra ye ntabia bibifo ya che nipa no kura ni kwa say ye boro na ye hwe bra ye ti Ghana ni age ne nkrata na ebusebusa ne nsem afi ye wi a metum ni kase bo no ewie ediamo.
We are fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other, it's no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here. We want you to fix your countries. Now you came here with a traveling document. You came with a passport. You know that you are a visitor, but now you decided to come and integrate in our communities. You know very well that what you have done is wrong.
How many children do you have here?
We can come to Ghana and do what you're doing.
Passport.
Eh? Now you are carrying a bucket. It's 11 a.m. You were supposed to be fighting the government of Ghana there to ensure that they are getting things right.
No, there's no fight in Ghana. You must fight what they did.
Where's your papers?
Passport.
Passport.
Where's the passport?
Take it out. Baba.
Let me see your passport. Let me see. Luna. Okay, tell me. Who's the police officer that you are bribing to certify these things for you?
I'm blind.
Baba, let me tell you. I'm not police. These things, let me tell you, ne? You know by law you're not supposed to certify as an immigrant. You're not allowed to certify your passport.
No.
Okay, why do you certify your passport in a foreign land?
Okay.
Let's just start there. Why do you certify your passport in a foreign land?
You see, it was raining.
I follow you guys now on Facebook. How you?
It was raining these days. And when you go out with the passport, sometimes it gets spoiled. That is why I satisfy it so that it won't spoil.
Baba, Ghana don't do that.
Okay.
Ghana don't do that.
All right, sharp.
Ghana
Let me
is
show
the
you.
only African country that is.
Let me show you that when you are abusing our systems, ne? On the 10th of April, again, the 10th of April, you entered your.
Aha, and a brother to me, I'm a quine, Namedi, and some Amedi ever some war for Risobo Suming, Neda etosu, Ediono, Bako, Afe, Apim, Yenu, any Ediono and Samu met to me at the USCA. And Sami Chagui, our Facebook, off TV, Sanso, and a YouTube one so off TV. Now, Oko Google Play Store, Sunsua, a Hanson Play Store, Honubenya Yang off TV, download the app, no, and once I don't say this when we, Simwe, when I would demono, when Nika some for any papa may come for to me the mount. Mediani Nana Kwasi, I'm far. Mina Ghana, you know, to me, Ajimatum said, but I can't see a bonny moon to the moa. obia eni ho ti atama bosobodi ani sekutu sebam etumi ede ekura me nsem ti nonum ni fanya bo trankasa mfoni ho na afemi mfa entiremu papa nsam abeboa o entumi emfa mrawa nti akase enko emfa ma eye midwife pensioner Mame Agnes Achirem Mame Agnes Achirem oye midwife pensioner Petransa Asante Achimame eho na ofri mommy midoye nyamisho na onya okese efewura papa afi Mr. CK Mr. Kofi Asante mechiao afi miangasa my lovely auntie Abigail Tahilu onso enti akase entumi enkomfama Betty uwa techiman enenso eya wa woda miami nuaba papa bi anwofe happy birthday to you nyami nso no onye okese ontonso pengu so omo akomasia ademrem onyumfra dum nkwadum na afinhro bosu no awurade nyankopon emfama Betty miami nuaba I love you so much nti akase nkoma na asamwa nemom eda a eye efiada enyum from specific prayers no bra na bebobi fa wodisi ade no bra awurade na awurade ebeye ediama sanso ena eye nyamipa kwasi adasom enyu hu emfamfrimu nonso na dwumade na asase kopem se nonkron ene efa ebebo na afi osoma toso mienu nso no nonkron ne fa kopem se dumienu beba pam sima aduasa nemom efiada mpa ye ne de eye nonso ekopem se premu ebeto make am futumi de ma enumenso ye de the church edi ebebro tenase na ye de eneye ntia kase enko emfama dasani biada aha enam de Ghana fosie mema munyina moni hwe a enyado